Hi there, my name is Robert Cost, and I'll be demoing a product that I'm calling LegalScout. I'm the CEO of LegalScout, and my development team is in New York, and we've just released this product, and we're at the very beginning stages of getting it out into the legal law firm community and getting testing here. So I'd like to show this to you. I met yesterday with Zach and Beverly. This demo is for you. We're going to walk over the same territory I did with Zach. I'm going to go through this as quickly as I can, but inevitably it's going to take a little while to show you the array of capability that we have here. Um, so this demo will really come in three parts, looking at three parts of LegalScout. One is an intake capability that we possess. Another is a matter management capability. And then finally, there's a legal productization capability that I want to talk with you about later as well. But let's begin here with the first, this intake capability. You're looking at a web page that our AI synthesized based on your own law firm's website. It went out and learned everything it could about Block and Associates, gathered some of the assets, and put them on this screen that exists right now as a subdomain at LegalScout. So let's begin. Someone coming to your website, or perhaps a mobile app, or perhaps they just call into a number. We can have LegalScout respond in voice to an inbound phone call in a traditional way of interacting. But here we are at the website, and I've asked to speak with the.
Welcome to Block and Associates, your trusted partner in business law. What legal matter can we help you with?
Well, I want to know what it will take for me to export electronics to the European Union.
Well, howdy there. Exporting electronics to the European Union can be a bit of a maze with all them regulations, but I'm here to help steer you straight. Sounds like you're looking at international trade compliance, which touches on our corporate and business law expertise. Things like customs rules, product safety standards, and maybe even tariffs. To give you the best guidance, could you tell me a tad more about your setup? For starters, what's the name of your business?
My business name is Toys R Electronic, and we're in the business of making audio devices for children to play with.
Well, bless your heart. Toys R Electronic sounds like a fun outfit. Audio gadgets for the little ones, eh? That's
Yeah.
mighty creative. Now, since we're chatting about exporting to the EU, we'll want to make sure everything's buttoned up on the compliance side. Next up, who's the main contact person at your business?
I am Joe Johnson.
Pleased to make your acquaintance, Joe Johnson. Now, to get a better handle on your export plans, what industry would you say Toys R Electronic falls under? Like consumer electronics, toys, or
Yes,
something else?
consumer electronics.
Got it. Consumer electronics it is. That helps narrow things down for EU regs like CE marking and ROHS compliance. Now, what's the specific legal issue you're facing with this export? Is it paperwork, certifications, or something else?
I need someone to guide me through the entirety of the legal and regulatory concerns surrounding selling electronic toys into the European Union.
Understood, Joe. Guiding you through the full legal and regulatory landscape for selling electronic toys into the EU is right up our alley in corporate and business law. We'll cover things like product safety directives, import duties, labeling requirements, and data privacy if there's any smart tech involved. To keep things moving, what's your preferred way to stay in touch? Email, phone, or something else?
Well, for right now, email.
Email it is. Smart choice for keeping records straight.
I'm
Now on
going
the
to I'm
urgency
going to
front-
type in my email right now so that there's no ambiguity
Perfect, Joe.
about how it's spelled, and we don't have to work on that.
I've got your email noted as rjkami@outlook.com. No worries on the spelling. Now on the urgency side, how pressing is this export project? Like, are we talking immediate deadlines or more of a planning phase?
We're in the planning phase, and this is part of it.
Good to know. Planning phase gives us some breathing room to do it right. For the next steps, When would you be available for a deeper consultation with one of our attorneys? Say dates or times that work in the coming weeks.
How about Monday, the 30th of March at 10 a.m.? Does that work?
Monday, March 30th at 10 a.m. sounds promising. Let me check our attorney's availability right quick.
Well, is that time available?
Yes, sir. That slot's open for you. To lock it in, I'll need your full legal name as it appears on your ID, just for the booking.
Just Joe Johnson, not even Joseph, Joe Johnson.
Got it. Joe Johnson it is. And for the booking, your primary phone number if something comes up.
412-419-1725.
Appreciate that. 241-91725 noted. All right, Joe, your consultation with one of our attorneys is all set for Monday, March 30th at 10 a.m. You'll get a confirmation email shortly to rjkami@outlook.com with all the details.
Okay, are we all done?
Is there
Because
anything
I've
else
got to
about
go.
this?
I've got to go.
We can wrap up here? Up on this EU export guidance? If not, we'll dive deep on Monday. Take care now.
Bye. So you may have noticed it took on this affectation. We instructed it to be a casual Midwesterner, but it's a little bit corny. One version we had was a Yinzer from Pittsburgh, and it didn't do badly, but I thought I would avoid that. You'll notice as well here at the top of this widget is an ability to actually schedule a consultation by clicking the button. You would engage with a similar consultation with the AI, and it would walk you through availability. Same thing here. If a person wants to get out of this conversation at any time, they can either click on this button to speak to a person, and it'll be directed to someone's particular phone number, or they can tell the AI, "Hey, I want to talk to a person," and it will direct to anyone that you've assigned, if you've assigned anyone. You'll notice over here, it was keeping track of information that it was gathering and allowing me, in a lot of cases, to correct it. Get all filings done. How's that? That's something else we want to add. This conversation will wake up again and receive that uh, amendment to what we said earlier. Okay, so we're done. I'll come back in just a second, and we'll take a look at what happens as a result of all this information that I've put in. So we just took a look at the prospect side of the experience with the LegalScout associate. We call them associates, these agents. And I want to show you quickly what the law firm side looks like. It's in an area of an administrative tool for LegalScout that we call briefs. These are consultational briefs that come in, and here's the conversation we just had with Joe Johnson. There's a précis of the conversation, the key dates involved, the strengths and weaknesses of their case, their matter, their expectations about what the next steps are, and what the required follow-up is here. This brief can become as complex and interesting as you like. It can calculate the number of hours this case might take. It can do research on relevant case law and statutory authority. It can lay out the tasks involved in dealing with the client later. So this brief is, we think, pretty valuable in and of itself, but it also will synchronize with your client management system. So if you're using Clio will sync with these fields as you create them here. And it's a bi-directional sync. So if something new should pop up in Clio, that same information will be populated back into LegalScout as well. So from here, I could call the client, I could set up a meeting with them, and we just saw the PDF export thing. So this is the brief, but let's assume that we want to onboard this client, that we do make a call back and decide to bring them on. We can at LegalScout manage an engagement, an e-sign engagement process, which I'm not going to show you right now. I'm instead going to drift over into what we call matter management. Um, Here are the matters that we've accepted so far. Some of them are brand new, like the Joe Johnson one, or let's see here, corporate and business law. This is the one we just brought in, and as a result, the only thing that exists in the what we call a dossier here is the consultation that happened, and we can view the brief from here. But so far, there are no documents associated with this. There are no emails associated with this, although, yes, I gave it rjkami at outlook.com, and it thinks that Joe Johnson's email address is that. I don't want to send bad emails out to to Google servers, so that's all my email ends up coming here. Um, we can also provide client access to a client portal, which I'll show you as part of this. But for right now, we'll set this aside. So matter management is, let me show you a more mature file, um, one that here for Lyndon Baines Johnson involving some kind of a stolen formula and legal action against an employee. Uh, that too had only one consultation, but here's an employment agreement that was uploaded. We can map to Microsoft 365 or to Google Drive or to other servers if you keep your documents in virtual storage somewhere else. Otherwise, we can upload documents from your local machine to LegalScout. These documents and all of the consultations and all of the email become grist for the mill, so to speak. So as this portfolio fills up, the AI assistant here, the associate, becomes aware of a greater and greater body of knowledge about this client and can go into things like developing, say, a task list based on what it knows. We'll try this out here and see whether we have any success. But here, the associate's looking at what we know about Lyndon Baines Johnson, what we know about the conversation and that employment agreement, but in a not and the email that has gone back and forth, although much of that email is going to end up irrelevant because I'm using a different address. But in any event, it looks at all of this material and on the basis of that develops a workflow, a plan for addressing this client's needs. I'm not even going to look at them for right now. I'm just going to apply them all, adopt them all. Um, and this now becomes part of the client portfolio. You'll notice here that some of these items are dispatches to clients. So um, let's say this one. Um, Confirm the current employment status with the employee. I guess that wasn't clear from our interview. So we can ask the AI agents, and we're not going to do this right now, to go off and perhaps call the client up, perhaps SMS them, perhaps email them, or some other means if we want to copy a link, and go out and get that information and bring it back and make it part of our dossier on this client. Other items belong, to the attorney. Obviously, here you evaluate the budget for litigation. There's a good question. Assess settlement options, prepare for potential litigation, and the like. As they complete, I can mark them completed. I can edit them. I can delete them. I can go ahead and, for example, complete this one with AI. I want a quick rundown on trade secret law, let's say, especially in Pennsylvania, but perhaps as well the federal trade secret law protection, because that seems to be what's at issue here with the client walking away with secret information. So in a standard LLM interaction, I get back, some relevant starter case law here. By the way, this is not hallucinated or not hallucinable. Um, it comes directly out of a tool that plugs into an open source database of legal opinions, federal and state, and all statutory authority. So it's a starting place at any event. So that one was taken care of by the client, let's say, and we work our way through this. We get kind of an overview of what's next and what needs to be done next, and we can, on the basis of the information known to date, take actions to enrich this dossier. So it can go out further and perhaps track down some of those cases, see whether they're really applicable to this case. It'll take a look at further documentation that's come in, further email, and it will refine our dossier and our work plan for this client. So there's much of matter management. It's deeper here, and I could spend lots and lots of time running through some of the depth, but I don't think that's necessary or even appropriate. What I'd like to show you real quickly is client access to this LegalScout AI platform. So I could give, I already have someone open here. So let's say I could grant Lyndon Baines Johnson that, but here is a different client, Jack Smithfield, and he received an email or perhaps a text message that said, here's a link for you. And he had to authenticate coming back in. And he's now confronted with his own portal. And here's the case progress in his case. This is Jack's task. And here's Jack's task. So he's got a couple of items to accomplish here, and he's awaiting review by the attorney of the intake information. But we can just simply go to the agent here and ask, what's the status and what's next? And that's literally what I'll do. Um, you know, let's see whether it knows us coming in.
Hello, I'm Scout, the AI legal assistant for your law firm. How can I help you today?
Well, I'd like to know the status of my case and what items are next, and if anything is due from me.
Thank you for checking in, Jack. I'll give you a quick overview of your matter. Matter number 2026001, based on the current status. We're still in the early stages, as this is a new intake related to the employee termination and potential trade secrets issue at Smithfield Inc. Current status. Overall matter status, intake initial review phase. Phase, initial review.
Okay,
Ball
I
in
see
court.
that on the screen. You don't need to go into details. Is there anything that I should do right now?
Understood. I'll keep it concise. Yes, there is one pending task assigned to you as the client. Gather documentation from client. This involves providing a copy of the employee's standard confidentiality agreement, any documentation related to the design booklet, and e.g. the description, value, security protocols. Details on the only employee had access claim and the citing at the competitor's office. You can upload these directly through the portal. You have permission to do so. Once we have them, we can move forward with analyzing risks and developing a strategy. That's the next attorney action. The consultation is scheduled for this Friday at 1 p.m. In the meantime, if you have these documents ready or any updates, feel free to share them now or upload them. Is there anything specific you'd like to discuss?
No, not right now. Thanks. Bye.
Understood.
Okay, so the similar kind of conversation here, but this one more directed and more oriented toward, getting the matter taken care of. So we're back, and I'd like to show you one final, I'll call it aspect or vantage point onto LegalScout here, and it has to do with the third component. We had talked about intake, we talked about matter management. The third component here is legal products, and this may not be something that Block and Associates has any interest in whatsoever, but it's there, it's available, it's optional, and it makes use of the very same infrastructure to enable you to identify services that are repetitious, that are well bounded, well constrained, and offer those, as I do at my own website, as products. So let's take a look, and this pricing is entirely fictitious. Made everything up here, so that may be not satisfactory. But let's say we want a simple will, and power of attorney.
Welcome to Block & Associates, your trusted partner in business law. What legal matter can we help you with?
Well, I'm interested in your simple will and power of attorney service package.
That's a smart move. Folks often say a simple will and power of attorney bundle is like putting your affairs in a tidy little satchel for peace of mind. We've got just the package for that, priced at $499 with a quick 24-hour turnaround once you're set up. To show you the details right on your screen, let me pull up our service options.
You
I've
did.
just put our service offerings on your screen. The Simple Will Plus POA bundle is right there at the top. Take a gander and let me know if that fits the bill for what you're after.
Well, tell me more about what's involved and what I get for that.
Well, bless your heart for asking. For that $499 bundle, you get a straightforward will tailored to your wishes, naming your executor and beneficiaries, plus a durable power of attorney to handle your affairs if you're laid up. We draft them up proper under Pennsylvania law with all the right witnesses and notarization guidance. No frills, just solid protection for your loved ones. Anything specific you're wondering about in there?
How do I pay for it?
Well, howdy. To get the ball rolling on that Simple Will Plus POA bundle, we'll handle payment right after you sign the engagement agreement. It's all electronic and secure, usually through a credit card or a bank transfer on our platform. But first things first. To prepare that agreement for you, could you share your full legal name?
Okay. Well, you get the idea, and I can go ahead and through a process that's pretty familiar to anyone online, go through fulfillment here. You can set this up. There's a good deal of configuration tooling that goes to work here, and you can set this up to very, very carefully scope and bound what it is you're delivering, and to make payment contingent on certain deliverables, or to make payment all up front, or however you want this all managed. And included in it is a signatory process for getting them to sign the engagement agreement that would cover this limited scope engagement. We are already hooked up to Slack. We can hook up to other payment portals, but I'm not going to bother you with that right now. Let's let's see if I can summarize. We've got LegalScout here. We're running a period of time here. I hesitate to call it a beta test because it's really a pilot, and we really do believe that this tooling and these capabilities are well tested and ready for prime time. And I enjoy the opportunity to work with you to get it live. We at LegalScout will take care of all of that. This could well be invisible, this process, to you. I'm happy to work with the web development firm that you probably work with to get Block and Associates website maintained. So that's all. I will look forward to meeting you someday in person, Beverly. But in the meantime, I hope this suffices. Forgive all of the ums and ahs and pauses and so on that made this undoubtedly way too long. But I hope this conveyed some of the sense of LegalScout's value. Thanks. Bye bye.